What's up, YouTube? It's Dylan Bartlett here. I know this kind of looks a little ghetto because my apparently my webcam won't record desktop, even though it clearly says it will. But apparently I have to download a client for it, and it was taking forever, and I just couldn't wait. So I'm doing it like this. Hopefully, you guys can see well. Pretty much I just wanted to break down the format, tell you guys what I think is going to win Nats, and just my opinion of the best decks right now. So let's get started. The first deck, and again, these are just this is my opinion. Not necessarily it is the best deck, but in my opinion, I think it is. A lot of you guys are probably thinking these two are the best decks of the format, but I really think Inzectors is the best deck of the format. I don't run Inzectors, so I'm not biased, but I do think it's the best deck of the format. Simply because it can implement cards like Effect Veiler, Block of Soldier, Safe Zone. It can implement cards that other decks can't. And I feel like if you can implement good cards in a deck, then you can win. You know, like Rescue Rabbit, they can't play Max C. I mean, they can, but it's a really bad card in my opinion. You know, they can't play Skill Drains. But Inzectors, I feel like it's really good because of Centipede. He really makes the OTK go off. You know, he can special. Sorry about that. He can special summon a guy from the deck, and I don't think it's necessarily the Hornet that's the problem, because popping a card's not too much for me. I mean, just don't commit to the field. But the Centipede special summoning is really annoying. That's how I think how they really win. But a lot of players are like, oh, if you can't get Hornet in the grave, you'll lose. I don't necessarily think that. If you play 3 Hornets, you're bound to get 1 in the hand or 1 in the graveyard somehow. You have Foolish and Allure to go through your deck. If you play dualities, you have them. If you go through Raikou, you have that. But a lot of people say that if they don't have Hornet, it's not a good deck. It's not, they can't win, and I don't think that. They have other good cards like, I mean, Centipede's a good card. They have Geek still equipped, and the Zen Calibers, all the equip spell cards they have. But they also have the other guy. They have Dragonfly, Ladybug to equip cards. So, but I really like the deck. I mean, it can OTK. It can get rid of pesky cards off the board. The only problem with it is it's a deck that it gets hit hard by the sideboard. You know, Effect Veiler really shuts it down. You know, Torrential with double TT in the format. You have Shadow Mirror, Macrocosmos, Dimensional Fissure. So, but okay, the second deck is Chaos Dragons, and really why I didn't put them first is they haven't really been out too long. They just won YCS Philadelphia. That's another reason I didn't want to place that number 1, because it's like, oh, you're biased because it just won YCS Philadelphia. This is his first YCS it's won. It's been in the top tables, other big events, but it finally won one, and I really like the deck. And I think it will win Nationals this year if another big archetype does not come out, or previous archetypes don't get other support. So the reason why I think dragons are really big is because nothing really hurts it. Skill Drain doesn't hurt it too much. I mean, they can still drop that 28 beater, Red Eyes Metal. They can still drop a Light Pulsar and Dark Flare. I think that's his name, Dark Flare Dragon. They can also implement cards like Skill Drain. Technically, I wouldn't advise it though. They can play Effect Veiler. They can play Forbidden Lance. They can play Gozen Match. They have really good stuff that can be set into the board. I don't think Shadow Mirror hurts them too bad, because still they're dropping. You can still drop a Light Pulsar. He's a light monster. You can still bring him back. Red Eyes Metal. You can just drop him from your from your hand. He's a huge beater. I think Macro hurts the deck and Dimensional Fissure, but they made 3 Lilas, 3 Raikous, I believe 3 MST. So, and they can implement cards like Black Hole Soldier, Chaos Emperor, or not Chaos Emperor Dragon, but Chaos Sorcerer. They can also play Max C. So I really do think Dragons might be the best deck of the format. I'm not saying that though yet, because I don't want to be biased. I need to see it win another YCS. But yes, these two, I mean, it's really personal preference. I think Inzectors are better than Dragons, but um, that's just anyone's call. I mean, they can go back and forth. They can swarm the field, no TK. You know, they can OTK. If they commit to the field, they can just pop off everything. But they can come back. You know, they can keep swarming and swarming and swarming. The third best deck, I believe, in the format is Rescue Rabbit. It's still a really good deck. I don't think Priority. I think Priority did hurt it a little bit. Just because Heroes have a really strong match against it now. You know, they drop a Rabbit. They can choose to Super Poly it now, or they can wait until they get out their Lagia like they always do. But I mean, this card I think really got hurt. I mean, you can Compulse it now, Torrential it, but it's still really good. Because they have tour guides. They can keep dropping big beaters. Not very fast as Dragons can, but they can still drop big beaters. I mean, at first turn Lagia with a couple back rows is always very annoying. But it's still a strong deck. They can implement cards like Lance, Chalice, Veilers. So it's still a good deck. But I don't think it's on the level of these guys. At least not yet. Fourth best deck in the format is Heroes. Personally, I think most people would say that it should be ranked 3. It should be the third best deck, simply because Heroes just shits all over Dino Rabbit. It's a very easy match for Heroes. They have Super Poly to get rid of their Lagia. They have traps, they have skill drains. Since no priority, the Rabbit's kind of useless. But Dragons really shits on Heroes, in my opinion. And Inzectors gives Hero a tough matchup. So I put it fourth because Dino Rabbit can do battle with Dragons and Inzectors. Heroes can squash all over Rabbits, but they have a hard time against Inzectors and Dragons. I think all builds of Heroes have a hard time against Dragons, not so much Inzectors. I think Bubble Beat has a hard time against Inzectors because you're not playing Skill Drain. But these two guys, in my opinion, they can do battle. These guys, there's no comparison. Heroes usually wins most of the time, but Dragons just sits all over Heroes. Heroes is a very good deck. They can run cards like Duality. They can run Veilers, Lance, Chalice, Rivalry of Warlord, Skill Drain. They can run Safe Sense if they wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a really good deck. It's very consistent. That's something that these 3 decks don't necessarily have. I mean, they are consistent in a way, but Heroes has an extremely huge factor of consistency. They're, I think, the most consistent deck of the format. And personally, I like consistency. It's just you really have to side hard for these 2 matchups. The rest of the decks are just decks that still top and are still considered, I think, a top tier deck in my opinion. Dark Wolves haven't been doing too much lately. I think they topped a little last weekend. They're a good deck. They have Grapha that just keeps popping back out. Gateway gives them advantage. They can play Tour Guide. But I'm not a big fan of Dark World. I think Dark World really needs their discard spells for it to get going. I think it has a slow start. They can't really implement cards like Effect Veiler and Lance that well. They can implement cards like Gozen Match though, but again, this card, Dark Worlds can get shitted on pretty hard in the sideboard. Macro is a toughie. Shadow Mirror can hurt them. But I mean, they do have a little bit of advantage over Heroes in some ways because they can't side Super Poly against them because Acerado isn't out yet. But I think Dark Worlds is still a decent deck. I think it'll get topping again soon. I think it might top a couple at Nat, so maybe 1 or 2. Windups is pretty much the last deck. Excuse me. It's pretty much the last deck of the format that I think is good in Tier 1. Nobody plays this deck anymore because it's not really. I don't know if it's necessarily good or if it's people playing it wrong, but there's too many cards that just hurt the deck. If they don't go first, Maxine Veiler is a huge problem. Rivalry is a huge problem. Forbidden Chalice is Yes, Forbidden Chalice is a huge problem. Skill Drain's a huge problem for him. Rivalry Warlords, I think I've already said that. Crows, I mean, there's so much cards that reserve the deck. Plus, I don't think people are playing it right. But that's all I really have to say about windups. They haven't topped a while, and only time will tell if they can be actually considered amongst the top three again. It was at the top three, but it's taken a huge hit. And then lastly, I just want to talk about Frog Monarchs. I think it's a good deck for Nats. I think it's a really good deck. They can implement cards like Effect Veiler. I think they can implement cards like Card D. They can play Black the Soldier, like Darkest Dragon, or not Chaos, Caius. But again, it's still a deck that, skill drain hurts really bad. Your Monarchs. If you keep getting Veilered, your Monarchs getting Veilered, it's just, I don't know. They really focus on Light and Darkness Dragon though, but I don't know. It's Frogs. I mean, to me, I feel like if they drop Aladdin, you saw them warning the lad, and they bring back like the Ronin Totem for defense. They usually pass, and it just gives decks like these a chance to just swarm in OTK. Even though they're playing Baylor and Gores, it still just gives them a chance to. I don't think these decks really care about Gores. I mean, they can. I think this maybe Gores would be kind of hurtful against them, but Inzectors, they don't care. They'll just pop it off and blow it up. But that's my analysis of the format. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Um, so I definitely think heroes will top at Nats. Not too many, maybe 2 or 3. Lots of dragons, lots of rabbits, and lots of Inzectors. Unless a new set comes out before Nats, which I'm pretty sure does. I don't keep up with sets, but in my opinion, I think Chaos Dragon, as of right now, until a new set comes out or a new hybrid comes out, or until the format switches again, I definitely think Dragons will win Nationals this year. But I don't know. It's too early. I mean, I think it's too early. I mean, it's May. It's the end of May. Nats is mid-July. But people keep talking about Card D. People keep talking about it's gonna once Nats hits, it's gonna skyrocket in prices because people are trying to find a perfect way to play Card D. But I definitely think Chaos Dragons will win. I think Rabbits will come in at the top tables, and so will Inzectors. But again, I mean, Heroes is a good deck that can take anybody on surprise. You just have to have the right people piloting it. The same thing with Rabbit. I think the right people piloting Rabbit can win. I mean, a Darkhold guy can even win. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and I'll try to get more videos as soon as I can. Thanks.